Alright guys, we're out here today. It's getting ready for winter, so I'm just doing a quick oil change on my MT-09 here. So it's a pretty easy process on this bike. Everything's accessible. There's no fairings to take off. It's a nice thing on the naked styles here. So right down below here is going to be your oil drain plug. Filters right above. So I went ahead, I ran the bike for a few minutes. Just warm up the oil so it flows out a little bit faster, smoother. It's kind of a cold morning today. So first step you're going to want to do is actually open up and crack the fill to help vent the flow of the oil here. So I'll cut over to that. All right, so on the other side of the bike here, right down below, this is your oil fill cap. So I want to break that loose like so. Just enough to vent it. You don't even have to take it off completely. Just get a little air in there. So that's probably the first easy step you guys are going to want to do on that. So down below, let's cut back over. So the bolt itself is it's a 17. Fits right on there. And then for the filter, you can either use the plier style or get yourself a kind of filter cap, and plugs right on there. So all right, so we have that loose. I went ahead, I put a little guard underneath. I was changing some oil and some other things here. So I just use a little makeshift kind of oil catch here. So you probably want some paper towels on deck. When you take it off, just ensure that the crush ring is on the filter. You're not losing that when you go ahead and put that back on. So it pops right off. And then just let it drain, guys. In this case, this is actually some very clean oil. So it should take a few minutes, and then you go ahead and crack the filter after. We'll cut to that when this finishes draining. All right, so that's just about finished draining here. So I went ahead, I got a new crush washer here. You might note on crush washers, there's a flat side and a rounded side. So the rounded side, you're actually going to want to mount up towards your engine, and the flat side is going to be on the bolt head. So just ensures that the crush washer has a nice sealing when you crush it in flat to its surface. So all right, then crack your filter off, and then crack it till it drains a little bit here. Try to get that oil out before you pull it out. Sometimes a good tip, depending on your orientation here, you can put a little aluminum foil off your exhaust or your headers or whatever kind of bike you have here. In the case of the MT here, it's a pretty clean shot down to the catch can, so not too worried about it here. All right, so here's the filter. Just do yourself a favor when you pull it off. Make sure that the O-ring is on the filter. Sometimes it'll get stuck up on the housing on there, so you don't want to overlap those. You'll definitely have a leak. So just make sure you have that. And when you're putting the new one on, just put a little bit of the oil on there to help seal it up. So I'll show that now. Sometimes just grab a little bit of this old oil in your hands and kind of just give it a nice seal around here. Try to do that with one hand, but all right. So there we go. New filter is on. Just go pretty hand tight on them, guys. I mean, you don't have to go Hercules. I don't want to over tighten them. Definitely look at what the spec is here. Same thing with the bolt. I double checked the manual so you guys don't have to. So here are the specs for tightening the oil filter, 13 foot-pounds. And here's the oil drain bolt, 32 or 17 Newton meters and 43 Newton meters for you guys there. So, all right, guys, now it's time to put in the new oil. I'm just running the OEM Yamaha lube here. It's the full synthetic. So grab yourself a funnel. One of these long neck ones works pretty good on the bike here. You get around the clutch cover or cover plate here. So yeah, let's pop it off. And in my experience, it calls for 3.2, but my past experience is using 3 quarts would actually kind of get it right there. There's always going to be a little bit of leftover oil in your engine you can't get out. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, I'll fill this up and I'll show you guys what the sight class will look like when it's full and cover that. All right, guys, so I got almost 3 quarts in, just a little shy here. just looking at the glass here. It's at the top. So I'm just gonna go ahead. I put the cap back on, just a little snugly, not all the way. I'm just gonna run the bike for a quick, like 45 seconds. Just kind of let the oil circulate through. I'll pull the bike off of the side or the rear stand here. I'll get it flat, and then I'll add as needed by checking the sight glass here. So if you look, there's 2 ticks. So you got a bottom and a top. You just want to be somewhere in between. I always just shoot a little bit for the top, about where my finger is right there. Yeah, as long as you're in there, you're golden. So I just ran the bike, double checked the bolt filter. There's no leaks. So now you're going to want to go ahead and check your oil level. So some bikes it's on the side stand, some bikes it's straight up. On the MT-09 in this case, it's straight up with the bike. Make sure you're on a pretty flat surface, and just go ahead and pick the bike up here while you're checking out the sight glass. And dead straight for me is right here. So I'm right in there, maybe just a touch bit more. So I'm right there, guys. So I'm right there, pretty happy with that. Right between, closer to the high mark. Looks good to me. If anything, I could add just a little bit more. I'll take it for a quick spin, see how it looks, and if I need to add just a touch more, I will. So with that said, really appreciate you guys watching. So for reference, this is a 2021 Yamaha MT-09, and I just ran the OEM filter and oil myself. I mean, it's within a few dollars of getting anything aftermarket. And at least, you know, I know this, it's all factory approved from Yamaha themselves. So yeah, run what you guys prefer. Thanks for watching.